game ever! Oh, we are so going for a fucking bloodbath. Yes! Alright. Now, this is going to be a let's play of my all-time favorite game ever. Strife. Take a look at that. See that majestic glory at the top? That's right. We're going to be doing this on Bloodbath, which is the highest difficulty. Now, as far as I know, no one's ever done it on that, but bear in mind I've only ever seen two people play this game who I did not introduce to it myself. And they've barely done it past medium difficulty. I've beaten it, I'd say, a good couple dozen times, but only on the 2 lower difficulties and once on the medium, which was Veteran. I did about 90% on Elite, but I got about nearly to the end and realized I did not have the supplies necessary to finish the game. You're given a... I'll explain about the inventories and the gold and whatnot later. Now, the game fact states, like all the walkthroughs in game fact states, this difficulty is impossible. There's no point in even trying to get out of this first room. My goal has always been to beat this game with proof on the last difficulty. And that's something I'm going to start right now. Let's see how many deaths it takes to get me out of the first room. Actually, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. The easiest way to take on these first 2 guards here is to get them to like fight each other, which is to use one as a shield while you take out the second. I managed to do that with quite a bit of health left, and 1 medkit to boot, which is really good because in a couple of trial runs I did of this, I had literally 34 health left, no medkit. Your damage with the punch glove and your ability to run both drop drastically when your health drops, because it's connected to your stamina or your adrenaline or some crap like that. No other weapon is affected like that, but still, it's best to fight always in full if you can. Jeez, I get my ass kicked. Ow. Okay, we're just gonna like jump back there. Try that again, because it was a little mean. We're going to kill you. Bring it, bitch. Punch glove power! Let's go! Punch him, punch him, punch him, punch him, punch him! Right. And it's still quite run. I think once your health drops to yellow is when you have to start getting worried. Alright. Now this is not a hostile. This is one game that sets... This is one thing that sets this particular game apart from most of the other ones on the Doom engine. This was the final game built on that, from what I understand, is NPCs. Likewise, I believe there's also something for turning on the voices. Now, what was that? Or turning on the voices. Turning on the... let's see. Conversation talk, spacebar. There we go. F8. That's what I'm looking for. Conversation text. Now, this is just to make it easier if you can't hear the voices.
In a small world, word travels fast. I hear you just removed some obstacles from your path. Nice work. Are you interested in some more lucrative projects?
Alright, now one thing you're going to want to remember about this game is 9 times out of 10, you will always want to pick the first option. Not always, and I will point out when those times pop up, but always pick the first one unless, stated otherwise. Picking the bottom one will let you exit without fear of screwing up, so if you ever want to like save your game first, then definitely do that. If you talk to him, he's going to go over his whole spiel again. But if you pick the middle one, well, not usually this is what happens.
Guards, rid me of this meddlesome peon.
Now you'll hear the alarm in the distance, and what that's done is, this is the main hub, the main town here of Tarnhill. This is the main hub to access to almost all the other areas besides what comes later in the game. There's also a ton of guards that get warped in the moment you set off that alarm, which can be done by hitting the wrong person, saying the wrong thing, usually with the middle choice. I think in 1 or 2 instances saying something to somebody, period, triggers it, and shooting off any gun that's not the punch glove, which you start with, or the poison arrows, which I'll showcase later. And when the guards appear, you're pretty much screwed. You can either duck out of the area... Wow, I'm gonna get my ass kicked. I didn't expect them to find me that fast. Kill off all the guards, which will probably suck up all your ammunition, even when you get the later guns. Or just die and start over. Likewise, if you pick the wrong choice, set off the alarm, or piss the wrong person off, like I could not talk to Rowan again right there, and hope to get the right choices again, because I've already pissed him off. He thinks I'm a traitor now. So, and if you save your game when you do that, you're screwed. You have to start over. And when you're playing on Bloodbath like I am, that's probably not the best thing you could be doing. So always be careful when you're talking to people. Don't accidentally speed click into the wrong thing. I think there's 1 or 2 times where you can also switch as the top one, and that sets off the guards.
In a small world, word travels good.
Yes, I would.
Some friends of mine need someone silenced. Belden is being held by the Order in their sanctuary. There's a rarely used entrance by a small pier off the river which is unguarded. Get in, shut him up, and bring his ring back to me as proof.
Now, if any of you are looking at this box and wondering what the Order is, why there's someone being held by them, why I'm supposed to kill this guy who I've never met before, and why this guy wants him dead, I could show you the intro. It has a voiced intro, which explains a lot about the beginning of the story and why you're... Well, it actually doesn't really explain why you're here. Even the book that came with this game, which I don't actually have, barely states why you were getting involved in this. Basically, you're just a mercenary. But about the whole Order and everything, if anyone wants me to showcase the intro in a later video, because I don't think there's that many videos on YouTube, this time I actually checked, unlike with Out of This World, then I will. But until then, you're free to go and look it up on GameFAQs, or just continue on in ignorance, and I'll try to explain as I go. Other than that, I'm not going to do a video just for the intro unless people actually want to see it. I don't exactly count on being the most popular person with this video, because this is not a well-known game as it is. But anyway, continuing on.
I'll guarantee 50 gold, and if you return without setting off every alarm in town, there's a chance to earn much, much more. And here's a little helper that should give you an edge.
I like little helpers. They're like little gnomes.
Good. Remember, his silence is golden.
This choice right here is kind of pointless. Like, once you hit I'll get him, it's basically the same as hitting see you later. Because you risked out. Now I have a crossbow, by the way.
Mission accomplished. You have the ring of the traitor?
Until I come back to this. But, of course, I don't have this, so. Now, one thing I've always found as a safety precaution is always switch back to your punch glove in town, or poison bolts. I don't have poison bolts. You can easily tell this is the electric bolts, which I've never even heard of in an arrow before, but what the hell do I know? Poison bolts I can go pick up a couple of right now, and I plan to. There's also a couple of secrets I want to show off in this town before I go to the first dungeon and do my first mission. Now, as you can see, you can walk around, you can talk to people. The barkeep, he'll offer to give you some gossip and stuff like that if you ask him. And then after that, he starts charging. Obviously, if you can look at the bottom of my inventory here, I have no cash. I have no items to begin with. The guards here no longer... I don't know what the deal with the 3 is at the top there that came after you. On lower difficulty, there's always 2. If you look up here... What was the look up button? There it is. If you look up here, there's also a turret system. You don't want to set those off, because they get annoying. There's guards all over the place, and these aren't even counting the ones that spawn in later. This is where the game deviates from its demo version. There's a shareware free version. It's just a demo. Rowan is actually replaced by this man here, and there's no way to actually win that demo. He just screws you over. But here, we're going to activate something.
I'm kind of a talent broker for the rebels. A guy who is as good as you can make a lot of gold, if you're hooked up with the right people.
Lying scumbag. Now what this guy does is he tries to get you to steal something later, like in the first dungeon, that will actually trigger the alarm the moment you walk into town with it. You don't want to do that. So, but you can actually milk this guy for a couple of extra items and some gold early on. But likewise, even though he's trying to screw you over, if you actually denounce the rebels, he still gets you killed. So what you do is you play along.
Good choice. The Order's sanctuary by the river is their unofficial torture chamber. Hidden inside, there's a golden chalice. You swipe it and reap your reward.
Why was Sanctuary having so much emotion put into it? Whatever.
Here's a crossbow. Just aim straight and splat.
Arrows don't
Remember,
splat.
grab the fancy cup and get to the tavern.
Now, he gives you the crossbow, but, you know, you already have one the moment you click this. You know, you seem to have enough, because you already have the gun. Actually, if you hit Z on your keyboard during this game, I think you can change it in the setup, but it showcases all the weapons you have, your ammo, your accuracy and stamina, I'll explain later, as well as the little thing in the corner that says calm. You get that after the first mission. Likewise, if you hit K, you can cycle through your keys. And I believe W is your current mission objective. Now, what you do